Hi, I'm Gayla. After 20 years of climbing the corporate ladder, I took the leap and started my own business to pursue my dream of creating a work-from-anywhere lifestyle. Having the freedom to work from practically anywhere is such a cool feeling. You're in the right place if you're looking for ideas and inspiration to start and grow your own online business. Every week in this podcast, you'll receive practical ideas, hints, tips, and tricks to help you grow your online business where you can leverage your time and you can accomplish more. You too can experience wonderful adventure and freedom as you live life on your own terms. Hi there, and welcome to the last Gayla Scrivener show of the year. Now, it's not only the year end, but it's an end of a decade. Can you believe it? I certainly can't. Now, sometimes we're frustrated because we haven't progressed as quickly as we think we should. Have you been there? I'm always there because entrepreneurs are notorious for being idea generators and are great at starting. But when it comes to follow through and longevity, everything should be done yesterday. That's what our mindset is. And we're always looking forward and beating ourselves up with all the things that we haven't accomplished. I believe that reflecting for a bit on the past creates momentum for the future. I believe that we should recognize what we have accomplished, even if it wasn't in this pretty little package that we had first imagined. I don't believe in dwelling in the past. I believe that the past helps shape our present, and we have a blank canvas for the future. So here's my challenge to you today. In the last days of this year, in this decade, write down your 10 things in 10 years, your 10 accomplishments that you've done in the last 10 years. So to kick this off, I'll share with you my 10 things in 10 years. Well, the first thing that started out, I became Gayla Scrivener. Pretty much the decade started out with me marrying Robert, and we got married on 3/2/10, March 2nd, 2010. We met a few years earlier, and both of us had previous marriages, and we swore when we met each other that we would never ever marry again, and we were just going to hang out. We're just going to be friends. Well, that didn't go as what we had originally planned. It just felt right. It just felt right that I wasn't going to be with anybody else but Robert. We decided that one day I would take off work, and we went to the license office, and voila, we were married. Now, although our parents knew of our plans, we did not mention it to anyone else. And how I announced that I was married was that I simply changed my last name on Facebook, just on my Facebook profile. No posts of announcing, hey, I got married and all of this. No posts, just changing my last name on my profile. That did it. That got a ton of buzz, let me tell you. Well, number 2 on my list is moving into our RV. All it took was me saying to Robert, wouldn't it be cool? And that was what started the momentum that changed our lifestyle. I said to Robert, wouldn't it be cool if we could just buy an RV and travel around living in it? At that time, he was looking for little campers because we liked to go camping, and we thought that would be a great little weekend getaway and having a little camper instead of the ground tent. And while he was shopping for those, that's when I said, hey, wouldn't it be cool? It'd be cool to be able to just live in one. And that's what got us started. He started researching vehicles, and we found our 38-foot diesel pusher Alphacia, and we moved in to live in that RV full time. The number 3 thing is that I left the only career I knew. That was huge. I had been working in business management in the medical field and doing medical billing and operations for 20 years. The company I was working for at the beginning of the decade was closing, and I had a choice. Go for another job, do what I've always done and look for a job and stay in a career that I was, quite frankly, completely burnt out in. And I wasn't interested in it. It didn't spark interest in me anymore. Or I could do something totally different. And that's what I did. That's my number 4 thing. Started a virtual assistant business, and I learned to be an entrepreneur. Now, I came across the word virtual assistant in my quest to do something different. I took the plunge when that company closed, and it closed for good, and I took that plunge to not seek another job. Oh my gosh, that was so scary. Instead, I sought out to do things on my own and become a virtual assistant and help other small businesses. Now, looking back, I cannot believe what I did. I didn't look for another job, but instead, I set out to create a totally different lifestyle. Sometimes I just really can't believe it. And the only thing that I knew in my adult life was to have a traditional job. I had been paid every 2 weeks since graduating high school. I was taught that I should have another job lined out before ever giving notice to my current position. That was my mindset. How irresponsible of me not to have a stable job lined out. It was such a big, scary thing for me to become an entrepreneur. I am 100% certain that Robert had given me the courage to take that leap into that uncertainty. We are very complementary to each other. He is such a creative and free spirit, and I am more of this planner and need a sense of security type person, and he helps me live life to the fullest, and I keep him a little bit more grounded. And together we are really able to thrive, and I feel very lucky. So creating a business was a really big deal for me in the last 10 years. Now, number 5 on my list was travel and the amazing things that Robert and I have been able to do. We have had some amazing trips, and our mindset on how we travel has changed vastly. It used to be that it seemed like we were always in a hurry. We've got to hurry up and get there and see a few things and hurry up and get back. It was the vacation mindset. That's not what we like anymore. And we have slowed way down. The challenges of working from the road sometimes, quite honestly, is stressful. Yet at the same time, it is so rewarding. And I learned so much on each trip that we have. It's rewarding because we're doing it. It's awesome. Just looking back at the pictures and the videos, sometimes I can't believe that we were able to see so much. And I can't wait to see what's in front of us. And it certainly motivates us to travel more. And you can always see Robert and my travel adventures by going to beenthere.doingthat.com. And sometimes I go there just to reflect, to say, oh, how cool, I forgot that we did that. Perhaps the most difficult thing that has happened, and is number 6 on my list, is the loss of my brother Chris. I still have a difficult time talking about it. He had been fighting illness for quite some time, and his illness finally took a toll on his body. Now, I was glad that I could just drop everything. I just dropped everything, and I could take my mom and dad to Chicago, and we were with Chris and his wife Anna for the last weeks of his life. He was only 49, and like I said, it's still hard for me to mention. Even though it was the hardest thing that I've experienced so far, I am so appreciative that I could just go. I could just drop everything and just go. I found things that I am so appreciative of. And just one thing that I was very appreciative of is that I didn't have to ask permission for time off. I didn't. I just could go. I didn't have to worry about if my job was secure enough, or if my job was going to be there when I got back. Of course, I had client responsibilities, but I have such wonderful clients and such a wonderful team that things just got done. Well, that's all I'm going to say about that. I want to move on to number 7. Number 7 is such a joyous thing. My daughter, Megan, got married. My lovely, lovely daughter was married just a year and a half ago. Such a lovely wedding and a wonderful new son-in-law, an exciting future for themselves. And at her wedding, I realized how wonderfully lucky I am for a wonderful extended family. Boy, I'm saying wonderful a lot and excited a lot, but it's so true. I've been divorced from Megan's dad for many, many years, and I'm proud that we can get along. Now, I don't hang out with him a lot, but we get along. We share a great history. I met him when I was, I don't remember, I think it was like 14, and we spent high school together. I went to 4 high school proms, his junior senior prom and my junior senior prom. It was the same date. I mean, goodness, we share a history together. And we were married right out of high school, and we were married for 13 years. So we have a history. We share a daughter, and I am super proud that we can get along. At Megan's wedding, I looked around, and it was like, I love that my family, Robert's family, my ex's family, and now my son-in-law's family have such lovely get-togethers that revolve around the kids. There's no drama. Everyone gets along, and we have such great conversation and fellowship. Now, David, my son-in-law, has enlisted in the Navy. He enlisted shortly after their wedding, and now they live in Colorado and are starting their new adventures. I'm so excited for them. Now, moving on to number 8. Number 8 on my list is learning content marketing. Starting college, right out of high school, I had the major of marketing. That's cool, but I convinced myself that I couldn't sell anything. And while still taking my freshman prereq classes, I changed my major. I hadn't even taken marketing classes yet, and I convinced myself that I couldn't sell anything, so I changed my major to business administration and continued working in medical offices. And then, creating my own business, in order to generate any business at all, you've got to learn to market, right? So I was introduced to the concept of content marketing, and I learned that selling isn't what I thought it was. Not at all. My mindset has completely changed and is completely different about what marketing really is and how actually it helps people. It helps people solve their problems. Now, I love what Mike Kim says. Marketing isn't about closing a sale, it's opening a relationship. And I love that I can help my clients with their marketing, whether it's through consulting or through virtual assistant services from my team. It is so, so cool to help others get their message out to the world to help even more people. It blows my mind, kind of. Even just a small part of what I can do for my client trickles to help so many other people. Just thinking about that. I love it. Number 9, creating a team. I have a wonderful team, and we're small but mighty, and I am so appreciative of each and every one of them for taking the chance to work with me, and we grow together. I hired before I thought I could afford it, And it freaked me out, quite honestly, to set myself up to work with a payroll company right out of the gate before I wrote somebody a paycheck. Now, I use Gusto for my payroll company and have been very pleased for all these years. The thing that really was freaky for me was to commit to payroll. But I want to go out here and publicly thank you guys. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you, Norma. Thank you, Arlene. And thank you, Megan. And of course, thank you, Robert, my partner in crime here, that Scrivener Solutions wouldn't be Scrivener Solutions without you. Thanks, guys. And number 10, this podcast. Sticking with and publishing this podcast it seems like a really cool accomplishment. And I have learned so much. I've learned about myself, I've learned about the process, and about you. Starting the podcast is one thing. And quite frankly, I was afraid to start. I hated the sound of my voice and didn't know what to say. And sometimes I still have those thoughts in my head. It's quite weird to listen to your own voice. And I pick up on things. I think I hear my cousin Angela talking back at me. And that's kind of freaky at the same time. But I started it. And I keep going with it. And I was in a copy-proof coaching call with Mike Kim a week or so ago and shared something about my podcast and what episode number I was recording. And I was floored. And I didn't realize it. But Mike shared that on average, 84% of podcasters don't get past episode 10. Huh. And he made me realize that continuing on with this podcast is a true accomplishment. He and my team are encouraging me to do something special for the 100th episode. So plans are in the works. I don't know what it'll be, but you'll hear soon enough what the plans are. Thanks, Mike Kim, for your coaching and encouragement. I really, really appreciate it. So that's it. Those are my 10 things in 10 years that I was reflecting on and wanted to share with you. Those 10 things have shaped my goals for the upcoming year and beyond. Now it's your turn. How about you? What are your 10 things in 10 years? I'd love to hear from you. Drop me a note at podcast@gaylascrivener.com. Even if you don't share all 10 things, I'd still love to hear from you. I encourage you to jot them down. Jot down your 10 things in 10 years. Now, looking back and not dwelling, but looking back on these accomplishments will help you leap forward into your next year's goals. Sharing your accomplishments, no matter how insignificant you think they are, creates positive momentum. That momentum keeps you going. Well, thanks for joining me today. And if you found this episode helpful, I'd be most honored if you'd subscribe and even leave an honest review if you're moved to. Thanks again. Happy New Year. And I look forward to hearing your 10 things in 10 years. Next week, we'll be in a new year. Until then, have a fantastic week.